Hey, Mikey. How's the wife doing? Yeah, I hear the married life's rough. Amen to that, Mikey. All the milk was shot Hershey's.
You know, Jim, I'm not really up for any drinks tonight. Kinda just want to go home.
Oh, come on, Steve. Just because the boss at work gave you a hard time about your weird little personal bubble issue.
It's not that weird.
Hate to break it to you, Steve, but...
But what? It's not weird. It's perfectly normal.
Steve, it's okay to be... quirky. You just gotta admit it.
There's nothing to admit. It's not weird. I just like my personal space. That's all. It's my bubble.
Come on, buddy. You're the only person I know who has a bubble as big as yours. It's not normal.
Well, I beg to differ. Besides my somewhat underdeveloped social skills, I'm perfectly normal.
Oh, really?
My bubble!
I rest my case.
None for me tonight, thanks.
You know what I think you need, Steve?
Oh boy.
You need to loosen up.
I'm loose. I'm very loose.
Well, maybe your sanity is, but you just act way too tense all the time. You need to put yourself out there more. You're just so
What?
It's just that you're so
Say it, Jim!
awkward.
I don't have any idea what you're talking about.
Steve, face it, you take things way too seriously. You talk to people like a robot sometimes, if you even talk at all.
That is not true. I have instigated some very interesting conversations before.
You sit by yourself at lunch when I'm not there. You hide in the deepest, darkest corner of your cubicle at work every day, and you flinch sometimes everybody smiles at you.
I do not sit in the deepest, darkest corner of my cubicle. I'm simply positioning myself strategically in case an earthquake should occur. Also, the air is much more sterile the farther I am away from my coworker who eats tacos for lunch and then passes gas every half hour afterwards. And as for the flinching, I have no idea what you're talking about. I do not flinch when people smile at me. Simply nod and smile back.
Oh, really? Wow. You're even worse off than I thought.
Don't be ridiculous.
You've been living alone for far too long.
On the contrary, I think I haven't had enough time to myself lately.
You need a girlfriend.
Girlfriend?
You do know what that is, right, Captain Antisocial?
Girlfriend. Girl.
Yeah, typically girlfriends are girls.
I do not need one of those.
Come on, Steve. Women are great to have around.
I'm better off living an independent life, if you ask me.
Fine. Be that way. Stay awkward. I'll just have all the women to myself. Man, I need late just as you do.
I do not need lady. I am perfectly fine and socially adequate on my own.
You couldn't pick up a girl even if you tried.
I beg your pardon? I am positive that I am much more attracted to the opposite sex than you are.
What have you got that I don't? Certainly not personality. Or looks. emotion.
You sound like my mother.
Your mother?
Let's talk about something else.
I'll have a skim milk, please.
Sure, yeah, sure, good.
Thanks, Mike.
Here we go, scissors.
Tell you what, Steve. Let's have ourselves a friendly little competition.
What do you mean? A gladiator fight?
A duel of honor? Let's just call it a contest. Since you're so certain that your geeky knowledge of things will help you win a date with a girl, and of course, I know that my good looks and gentlemanly charm would make countless women fall head over heels for me instantaneously, we'll see who's right. Whoever gets a date with that beauty over at table number 2 is the winner. The loser buys drinks and does the other one's taxes.
A date? A date, of course. I can get a date quite easily with my intellect.
We'll see about that. Tell you what, how about you give it a shot first since you're feeling so smooth today?
Of course. Of course. Hello, female acquaintance. Greetings, fellow milk bar customer. Would you care for a cool glass of dairy refreshment?
Sorry.
I was just saying, ma'am, or woman, girl,
Do I know you?
do you know me? Well, I was perhaps hoping that perhaps we could accomplish that over a glass of 2% chocolate milk.
Are you being serious right now?
I'm not joking.
Is this a prank show? Is there a hidden camera trying to get a clip of my creep-out reaction?
This is not a prank show. I was simply offering as a fellow dairy consumer.
Look, pal, I just gotta have a pretty serious relationship. Sorry, but I'm not interested.
Well, okay.
So, how'd it go? Did you romance her with your charming wits and so-called intellect?
I believe she's engaging in what bachelors such as yourself call playing hard to get.
Sure.
I'll engage in conversation with her a second time, once I come up with an appropriate strategy.
You do that. In the meantime, let me show you how it's done. Let's read it.
Oh my gosh!
Is that what I think it is?
The Great Gatsby?
No way, that's my favorite book. No, really, I love that book. It's so nice to see that somebody else in this dive can appreciate quality literature.
So you've actually read this?
Cover to cover about a dozen
And
times.
this isn't just some roundabout way of trying to get my number?
Maybe your Dewey Decimal number since I love reading so much.
Well, if you love reading so much, who's your favorite character?
My favorite character?
Yeah.
From The Great Gatsby. I'd have to say, Gatsby.
Really?
Yeah, he's pretty great.
I'm not really interested in getting hit on at the moment, so you can just skip right back over and talk about quality literature with your sociology.
Come on, can you blame me for trying to impress such a pretty face?
I'm not impressed by line creeps. So,
Is it because you have a boyfriend?
no, it's because I just broke up with him, and you remind me a little bit too much of what he was like.
Does that make me relationship material?
No, it makes you selfish and stupid, and ultimately a dirtbag. So stop hitting on me before I literally start hitting on you.
Whoa. No need to get violent.
face.
Maybe, but at least she told me her name.
What is it then?
Laura.
A classical sort of name. She does have the appearance of a Laura.
Shut up, Steve. You're an Electus crud.
Not really. Judging by her attitude, she does not want us engaging with her.
Oh, really? Great job, Sherlock. Tell me something I don't know.
I'll tell you why she doesn't.
Because we're creepy and weird.
She's obviously bitter about her recent breakup. I heard her mention her last relationship to you during a previous conversation with her. And she had mentioned the demise of her ex-romantic relationship before sending me on my way. Her ex-romantic interest did something that ultimately brought about the end of the relationship. She had a plethora of emotional investment. There was a high probability that what he committed was an act of infidelity, or as you would put it,
He always left the toilet seat up.
try again.
Cheated on her?
Precisely. Now, after the initial heartbreak phase, consisting of tears, ice cream, and attempts of breaking or patching up the relationship over text, the typical woman engages in the independent, bitter feminist stage, in which she declares the entire male gender to be a zoo full of disgusting, selfish creatures, unworthy of any man's attention, any woman's attention or trust. During the stage, she gains much satisfaction from turning down her desperate admirers in public places and keeping up on political controversies or reading classic literature, which would explain her interest in The Great Gatsby.
Wow. That actually makes sense.
Women are quite predictable.
You should talk to her.
Well, one attempted flirtation is quite enough for me, thanks.
I'm serious, Steve. You know what she's going through.
I do not work well with emotions.
Well, obviously, that's not true. You just talked all about her emotions. So how about you just, you know how she's emotioning right now. So just go emotion with her.
Don't be ridiculous.
Steve, face it. This might be your only chance with a girl like that. I mean, look at her. She's beautiful. She's upset, bitter, and probably really sad too. And if you make her feel better now, who knows what this could lead to? You might end up getting a date with an actual girl.
She called me awkward. The probability of her even engaging in a conversation with me lasting longer than 10 seconds is very low.
You know what you need? A drink.
I do not see how a drink could possibly...
Mikey, give me a shot of chocolate milk for my friend's nerves here, and not just skim. Whole milk.
Whole milk? Jim, do you remember the last time I had something that strong?
Exactly. Come on, you're young, you're alive, and if you get too wasted, I'll just clean.
Derp.
It isn't Mr. Socially Awkward himself. Sorry, but I still prefer to be on my own.
Wouldn't it be a little bit lonely, though, without some 2% chocolate milk to keep you company?
I already have. Thanks, though.
Look, I know you've been going through lately, and I know that as a woman, you feel the need to watch your weight. But if you're really stressed out, you need to indulge.
Did your creepy friend put you up to this?
No, I just didn't want to have to leave this bar tonight without seeing you smile.
Wow, that's a new one.
My friend's name is Jim. Steve.
Great.
Look, I know you're not interested. I know the last thing you want is a relationship. I get that. I know how it feels to shy away from things that cause feelings.
You don't know me well enough to assume things like that.
I don't know you. I know how you feel. I've been through it before.
Yeah, right.
Actually, I have. I've experienced the feeling when somebody one cares about deeply abandons them, leaves them alone.
I'm sorry to hear that.
I'm not usually this talkative, however. I typically avoid people and the topic of emotions. I was just feeling a little bit intoxicated after a dairy shot.
Why don't you like talking to people?
Well, my mother and father got divorced when I was 4 years and 3.5 months old. My father yelled at my mother for talking too much, and my father yelled at my mother for not listening enough, and then the arguing became a nightly occurrence. And meanwhile, at my school, the bully picked on me, and he picked on me for not giving him my lunch money. And then the teachers picked on me because I was telling them that they were wrong. And then my schoolmates yelled at me because I didn't give them the correct answers. And then the arguing became so much more than I could handle, and I came to the conclusion that all people ever do is yell and yell and yell, and suddenly my eardrums could not handle any more than they had already endured. So I began to avoid conversations and emotions as much as humanly possible.
That's terrible. I can see why someone getting tired of dealing with people. Brian used to yell at me a lot.
Take it that Brian is your...
Ex-boyfriend. Yes. He's not exactly Prince Charming. I used to like him a lot, but there are other conditions.
See that you're coming out of the independent, better feminist stage.
Don't get too excited. Well, it's getting late. I'm headed home. Thanks for the chocolate milk and the emotional review. You weren't as bad as I thought you'd be.
Holy cow! You actually did it!
I got a number. From a female!
You just got a hot girl! And I did it.
I'm going to go home and update my cellular plan. I have the feeling I'm going to need much more than 5 minutes per month.
Can you believe it, Mikey? Steve actually got himself a girl.
You're about sure about purple between us.